If you have an iPhone 5S, your phone features the first ever built-in fingerprint sensor on an iOS device. It goes by the name Touch ID, and the fingerprint sensor is built into the 5S's home button. When you first unboxed your iPhone 5S, you may have already been walked through the process of setting up Touch ID. But just in case you chose not to set it up, or if you're considering an iPhone 5S and are wondering how Touch ID works, here's an overview on how to set it up. Start by going to Settings, General, and Passcode and Fingerprint. Now, in order to use Touch ID, you have to enable Passcode, which is the security system that requires you to enter a password to unlock your phone, which is a feature found on all iOS devices. So tap to turn Passcode on, and enter a 4-digit code of your choice. Then enter it again to confirm it. Once you've done that, you can tap Fingerprints. This is where you teach your iPhone to recognize your fingerprints. You can teach and store up to 5 fingerprints. So what you might want to do is to teach your phone at least the thumb and index finger on one hand. If you have a significant other or child whom you also want to have access to your phone, you can use some of the remaining slots for them. But to get started, tap Add a Fingerprint. You're prompted to place the finger or thumb you normally use on the Home button. Your phone immediately scans your finger and gives you instructions to repeatedly place and lift your finger on the Home button. As you do this, try to reposition your finger slightly each time so the scanner can see a larger area of your fingerprint. The phone will vibrate each time it wants you to move your finger again. Next, you're instructed to adjust your grip on the phone. Basically, at this point, it wants to capture the edges of your fingerprint. So keep placing and lifting, but with more of an emphasis on placing the outer edges of your fingerprint on the scanner. You should then see the success screen, letting you know that your Touch ID is ready for use to unlock your phone. Tap Continue. If you want, you can add another fingerprint. I'll use just the one for now, but you may want to take a moment to tap Edit and rename your fingerprint ID so you remember which finger you used. Now if I lock my phone, to unlock it, I can press the Sleep-Wake button or the Home button as usual, but instead of sliding across to unlock, I can just touch my finger to the Home button. Pretty cool. Let's lock that again. Now, if I did slide to unlock, I'd be prompted for my passcode, which I could type in, but even from here, I can still just touch my finger to the Home button to unlock the phone. And just like that, my phone is unlocked. And it doesn't matter what orientation your finger or the phone is in when you touch the Home button. Even if the phone were upside down as I'm pulling it out of my pocket, the Touch ID sensor would still work. So that's how you use Touch ID to secure and unlock your phone. It can be used in other Apple apps that require you to use your Apple ID. So for example, if you purchase an app from the App Store, which we'll look at how to do in a later chapter, instead of having to type in your Apple ID and password, you can just touch your finger to the Home button to make your purchase. Now there are a couple of instances where you have to use your passcode instead of your finger. If you've restarted or updated your iPhone, you have to type in your passcode to access the phone the first time afterwards. You also have to enter your passcode if you haven't used your phone in over 48 hours. And you have to use your passcode to get back into passcode and fingerprint settings. So if I were to go back into Settings and go to Passcode and Fingerprint, notice I can't just touch my finger to the Home button. But for every other time when you have to enter your passcode or Apple ID, you should be able to use your fingerprint instead. Now, in the past, many people didn't use passcodes on their iPhone because it was kind of inconvenient. But now that you can set up Touch ID and access your phone just by touching a button you were going to press anyway, there's very little reason to not take the step of securing your phone and to protect your information should your phone ever be lost or stolen.